Good afternoon, everyone. This is Malden Police Chief Kevin Molas delivering this message from your Malden Police Department community room. If you look out back, you can see the traffic going by on Eastern Avenue. I want to start out by just kind of giving you a brief overview of some of the activity that your police department's been involved in over the past week, just to give you some statistics about some of the things that we do. We're involved in 275 directed patrols. As I've explained previously, directed patrols are officer-initiated activity where an officer will respond to a location, spend time in that area with some visible presence, interact with the public. You could see us do that at places like the MBTA station, schools, or areas in the city where we're seeing some upticks in criminal activity. When I talk about the type of calls we go to, just to give you an overview, this past week the Malden Police responded to 8 domestic violence incidents. And you will be getting some information on this video format later on, explaining some of the resources that the department has from our Family Services Unit. Detective Elijah McNeil does a great job in that. And we're also augmented by the presence of a great organization called Respond, which provides services and information to victims of domestic violence. We made 11 arrests in the past week. We responded to 11 traffic accidents. We took 75 reports. And we responded to over 60 medical aid calls. That's an interesting reality of our job, that we respond to a variety of medical situations as first responders, and we're always happy to be assisted by the presence of the highly trained and professional Malden Fire Department and Cataldo Ambulance. There were 26 motor vehicle stops that your office has conducted over the past week for a variety of offenses, which the ultimate purpose of those traffic stops is to make the public roads safer for you to travel on and walk upon as a pedestrian or as a bicyclist. We had 3 overdose incidents over the past week, which I'm happy to report were non-fatal, and a couple of them I believe we were able to administer Narcan successfully. And something that we've undertaken on our overdoses, we follow those up with retired Sergeant David Ritchie, who's now working as a civilian. He's going to be following up on all these overdoses with the victim or family members and just offer them some services, whether it be through the recovery coach that the city has retained, Paul Hammersley, or offer them some information about supportive services that might be helpful to them. I want to point out that this afternoon a labor dispute manifested itself at our Stop and Shop. As you know, we have a Stop and Shop supermarket in the city. It's one of many that Stop and Shop has, but there is one in Malden. There's a labor dispute, so if you go in that area or you're going to shop in that area, you might see some increased police presence. We're there to provide public safety, to ensure the rights of those that are involved on the labor side, ensure access to the public, and just make sure that everybody is able to be there for whatever purpose they are in a safe, orderly fashion. So that just happened this afternoon, so if you're traveling in that area and you see police presence, it's related to a labor dispute that just began this afternoon at Stop and Shop. I always know that you can look at our website and look for some of the links of information that we have put up here. We've just put out some very good videos that were made by my detectives that highlight something that we mentioned, the Operation Safe Watch initiative, which allows members of the public to reach out if they have a member of their family or loved one or someone that they know that has a specific problem, whether it be an emotional, physical, or mental challenge, and we can use that information to help serve better. I'm reminded that this is Autism Awareness Month. Many members of my department are proudly wearing the pin in public recognition of that, to increase public awareness to that. It's something that our department is very aware of, and it's something that we look forward with great pride to be able to assist people in need, specifically in situations when that type of situation arises. We also have highlighted the Safe Zone initiative. That's something that happens on the police property, the parking lot out here to my right, and in our lobby, people are able to conduct transactions that might have originated online, and by coming to the police station, they can do so in a safe environment. Whether they be the seller or the buyer, it's a better environment to conduct a sale with somebody who you don't know and you're not really sure about the legitimacy of the product. We've actually seen some examples of that. Oftentimes we look out the window and we see two people engaged in a sale. I think we had one this week where someone was selling what appeared to be one of those landscaping tools, a weed whacker, and we saw the exchange take place. So it's something that works very well. It's a good, safe environment to do it. It helps us reduce scams or people being victimized as they engage in those type of transactions. I want to, probably close this week's message by pointing out a couple of sad events. Our attention was directed toward the state of Maine this week. A young man who was a Massachusetts resident originally went on to fulfill his dream of being a police officer. Maine State Police Detective Ben Campbell made the ultimate sacrifice last week. He was driving in his unmarked vehicle. He saw a motorist who had spun out in some snowy conditions. He went to help that motorist, and there was a tractor trailer going by. A wheel dislodged and struck Trooper Campbell, which ended up fatally killing him. And it's with that sadness that we wear our mourning badge. And again, Trooper Campbell's death is a reminder of the work that law enforcement officers across the country do every day. And we're often reminded that many times what police do, they're doing it for someone they don't know. And whether we know you or not, that is not what motivates us. What motivates us is to help you, and there's something very noble about offering assistance for someone who you're just meeting for the first time. And that's kind of spells out what Officer Campbell was hoping to do that day. He saw a person in need. He pulled over to render assistance, not knowing the final outcome, but as a result of his willingness and his commitment to help someone else that he didn't even know, he made the ultimate sacrifice. So, I offer my condolences to his family and to the entire state of Maine for his tremendous service. And in closing, I want to point out on a more personal level, the Malden Police Department and the community of Malden was saddened to learn of the passing of retired officer Anthony Perna. Tony Perna was a member of the Malden Police Department from 1977 to 1996. He served us with great honor and distinction. I had the privilege and honor of working with Tony on many occasions. He was truly someone who brought a high level of energy, intensity, and passion to the job, and he also brought with him a tremendous willingness and a desire to help others. I witnessed it on many occasions, and he was somebody who I will always remember as one of the true characters that this job has produced. And, as I will be leaving here, I'll be going to Tony's wake, and I am always reminded that Tony rode the motorcycle, and on many, many, many occasions, Tony himself would be present to do the escort for other people's funerals, and that visible presence that Tony was able to provide was a great source of comfort and pride of those that witnessed the manifestation of the police presence at the services of a loved one or a family member. So Tony served us very well, and it's a tremendous degree of sadness that I, learned about his passing, but it was also an honor and a privilege to know him as a friend and as a colleague, and as someone who would be a welcome backup at any police call where you needed help. So Officer Tony Perna, rest in peace. I want to thank you for the peace that you brought to this community through your many years of service. For that, we are eternally grateful, and I wish you, and I know with great confidence, that you will be receiving your eternal reward. And I want to also thank you for your tremendous proud service to the country as a U.S. Navy CB, which you always made everybody aware of. So I want to thank everybody for your time and attention this week. I look forward to talking to you next week or out in the community if I happen to come across you. Thank you again.